Sean Payton got the Denver Broncos to the playoffs last year, and so now how will this rookie draft class help them go even farther? My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we are breaking down the 2025 Broncos draft class. Before we do that, Ryan is getting married in a couple of weeks, so let's give him an early wedding present by hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell, and leaving a like and a comment. Let us know what you think of the Broncos draft class. And Ryan, with that being said, let's pull this up here. So in the first round, the Broncos selected Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Then in the second round, they got running back Harvey from UCF. Then receiver Pat Bryant from Illinois in the third round with their first pick in the third round. Also in the third round, they got Sai'vion Jones, edge rusher from LSU. Then they got Q Robinson, edge rusher from Alabama. Then they went to special teams and got the punter from Florida, Jeremy Crawshaw. Interesting. And then lastly, in the seventh round, tight end Caleb Lohner from Utah. Ryan, what are your overall thoughts of the Broncos draft class so far?
So we just did the Raiders and the Chargers draft recap, and I was very happy with the drafts that they did. And I'm not nearly as thrilled, I think, with this one. I like the Jahdae Barron pick. I think that's a good pick. It was a good value. You get a very versatile secondary piece to go with Riley Moss and Pat Surtain. I like that pick. RJ Harvey, I had as a day 3 running back. I had him in the teens, I think, on my list. He has very good like linear speed, but lacks some contact balance. Isn't going to break a whole lot of tackles, and isn't the most elusive of the backs. I don't want to say he's not elusive, but like you go look at the names are escaping me right now because I'm exhausted from doing post draft stuff, but I thought that was a bit of a reach. I thought Pat Bryant fell into a very similar category. I think you looked at the kind of receiver that they were needing, and they have Marvin Mims, who's kind of that speed deep threat. They have Cortland Sutton, who is that like traditional big outside X receiver. And I thought that was a bit of, or I thought that was a bit of a reach, just because he's not even like the slot over the middle kind of consistent target that I felt that they really needed. So I thought that was a reach. I thought Sai'vion Jones was also kind of a reach. I think at this point we're getting into like scheme specific players though that they're trying to draft to fill a certain role. So I'm not going to fault them as much from here on out. But I don't know. I didn't really like this draft. I felt they reached on a lot of players here at the top, and it just wasn't my favorite. Now, with that being said, Sean Payton has been known to have some wonky drafts in the past, and it kind of works out for him sometimes. So maybe I'm just some loon on the internet who doesn't know what he's talking about. But I personally think that they reached on a lot of these players here, and so does the consensus board. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I've been having a coughing fit, and so I muted myself. I do see your point with RJ Harvey, because even if you go look at who was selected next for them was Caleb Johnson, who I thought could have eventually been like a bell cow back for Denver as well, and definitely is more of a scheme fit because RJ Harvey, he is that speedster, while Audric Estime is going to be more that bowling ball type guy. So maybe it is that kind of matchup that Sean Payton's looking for in certain situations. So I can see that's going to be the route that they end up going. I agree with you though. Like just in general, I think they are super C. Maybe a little bit of reach, but I think a lot of these guys though, I do feel also have some high potential, and I think that's what we saw a lot of teams, especially to starting in the third round, even drafting guys for traits. Like, hey, this
Yeah.
guy might be a bust. He's probably not going to be there by our fourth round pick, but if this is a guy that we like, we feel like we can develop. He interviewed well. He like he seems like a smart kid that can learn the playbook really well. That's where we can go and develop him from there. So that's where I can see your point. It definitely is. I do like the Jahdae Barron selection just as a whole. I do think just getting another versatile cornerback in that room, and he's probably going to slide into nickel, and that would be the spot that he is going to be best at in the NFL, just because he's a little bit on the tinier side. Not saying he can't do outside corner like he did in college, but I think it's going to really open things up for this defense as a whole to bring him in and go that route. And so, uh, I say all that. I like that pick. If there was one knock, I do wish that they address got a little bit better receiver as a whole. They didn't really address receiver at all in free agency or they ended up getting Trent Sherfield, yes, and they got Evan Ingram as a tight end. So that's kind of like addressing the receiver. But it's to your point though, kind of about reaching Pat Bryant. Maybe not the best guy at that spot. I thought there were some other better guys that could have gone in that spot. Like Jalen Royals was still on that spot. I think that would have been extremely interesting. Jalen Knoll actually was shortly after them. Sai'vion Williams, Ty Felton also too. I think those guys maybe I would have leaned more towards
Yeah.
as well. I think a little more well rounded. I think could help contribute to Bo Nix and everything. But that being said, though, too, to your point, Sean Payton's kind of has had some wonky drafts, and some of those guys have panned out. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. The Broncos are a team where even just with the head coach and then how they've drafted, and it's just someone like now just earning that trust. Like, okay, like no, they're still going to be good. Maybe there's a sophomore slump. I mean that's I don't say kind of typical, but possible, so to say, for Bo Nix and this offense. But that being said, though, too, I mean, when you get Sean Payton and like one of the most offensive masterminded guys leading the way, it's very possible that they don't have that slump and they come back even stronger than they did last year.
Yeah. That is, I just don't know how, I can see how this draft helps Bo Nix continue to improve, but there's nothing here that really makes me feel like they're gonna like take another step in this offense. And so I, I'm really curious to see what the Broncos look like. As far as my grade goes, so my average grade is a C for these drafts. Like if you take 7 players at the spot that they were supposed to be taken, and like you fill some needs in the process, like that gets you a C. Um, they did take 7 players. I like the Jahdae Barron pick, but I feel like they really missed on the other 3 day 1 and day 2 picks. I'm gonna give this a D to like a D minus. This is probably one of my least favorite drafts that we've actually gone through and analyzed, just because I felt like they really reached at the top of the they really reached on day 2 for these players.
I uh I can see your point. I it definitely I would say below average for me. I'd probably still give it a C plus. I do think the addition of Jahdae Barron and they were able to bring in some guys as well. But I'd say like offensive line wise, like they're pretty stout overall. They've made some good additions over the past couple of years, both in the draft and free agency. Brought on Trey Greenlaw, brought on to Taluna Hufunga, and so like their starting line is their starting 22 is kind of set. I think they could have improved a little bit more in their receiver room, and Pat Bryant's not. I don't believe he's going to come in and contribute immediately. But that being said, though, too, I mean they had Devon Villay who really exploded onto the scene last year for the team, and he was a 7th round pick. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how he fits into the system. But it definitely on paper as of right now does seem like the lesser of the 32 draft or like one of the lesser ones of the 32 drafts.
Yeah.
But hey, that's our opinions and we're not getting paid by the Broncos. So
Yeah. I mean, and that is like a lot of people say like post draft grades before the season even starts are silly. The biggest thing is like, do we feel like they got good value for their picks? And like comparing them to what we thought of these players and then also the consensus board, I feel like the Broncos did not get good value for their picks. And that's why I had them graded the way that I did. I hope it works out for them. I really like Pat Bryant as like a developmental wide receiver. I thought character wise he was really good. He has some nice traits. But you don't draft traits with 74 overall. That's not
exactly.
that's just not good business. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of this Broncos draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.